Welcome back to the Garage Guys. Hope you're all doing well. Back here today with a special guest and a special episode. Got Tade with us.
Hey guys, you alright?
All good, thank you.
We're doing the Arsenal special, innit? So
It's about time.
had to bring it in. Nah, it's been you lot, innit? We've been suggesting it for 3 months. It's about time you lot said yeah.
It's about time.
So I'm here with Homundo.
Hello, back again. I'm gonna keep it short.
Got T to his right.
Yeah, T, another episode. Here to talk about Arsenal's going to be fun.
I know you've been waiting for this. So we would have had a lot more man, but a few man just got a few cold feet in it. So what can we do about it? But regardless of that, we get the show on the road, innit? So straight to it, boys. Arsenal, have you down to win the league? You fumbled against City on Wednesday. You got the re-meeting with the ex on the weekend. Mr. Unai Emery, good evening. Saturday morning, you know. So, also, let's not forget, you haven't won 3 in the last... What, 3 out of 3 in the league last? I think you scored only, 2 goals?
Yeah, man, I know. Listen, man, I know what you're saying. I know what you're getting at. But listen, man, there's always going to be glitches. Let's not forget, even Man City has got glitches this season. So, this can happen to everyone. And I'm not saying that we're a better team than Man City. We've been a better team than them till, Wednesday's game. But listen, man, it's a young squad. Like I said, man, the youngest squad in the Premier League. They're learning. It's a learning curve for them. It's always going to be tough, man. I don't understand why fans think it's going to be smooth sailing. I saw the kind of anger many Arsenal fans were showing after that game, and frankly, I didn't like some of the outbursts I was getting because it just shows the entitlement from some of the fans. I don't really know what they expect. Did they expect that these guys are going to go all the way and win every single game? It's hard. Fatigue sets in. The injury to Partey was also from nowhere. It wasn't expected. They had to change the game plan. There were so many things that happened, and I think fans sometimes just need to chill and understand that it's like a sinusoidal wave football. It's never gonna be like just on a tangent, just going all the way up. It's never like that. It's very difficult, and it's gonna take us some time. We need squad depth. Jesus was injured. Even Emu Smith Rowe, who normally would do a super sub. Impact player for us. He wasn't there.
Yeah, I think he's back.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things. I can go on and on, but there's a lot of things going on, bro. And for me, I feel I'm just going to believe as an Arsenal fan, and we watch the space, basically.
So you said believe. What do you mean believe in your team? Like, are you talking about this season achieving big things or just succeeding in the long term? So what do you mean by that precisely?
He started.
Both.
So are you expecting
in the long term and also this season as well?
Yeah, so you're expecting results this season.
Yes.
Are you expecting the Premier League this season?
If it happens.
No, because really and truly, it's yours to lose, not yours to win. Because everybody else is fumbling.
Real, it was never
at the
ours
top
to win
for a long time.
No, but
You've been number one for a long time.
Coming into this season, it was never ours to win. If you look at all the pundits now, when we always
at
play,
the beginning, a lot of teams.
Yeah. But if you look at all the pundits
4.
now, they're all saying it now. Even before this Man City game, I remember Gary Neville saying he doesn't see Arsenal winning. Even though we were first, we were like 8 points clear. He will say he doesn't see Arsenal winning. As much as it's not me agreeing with him.
You see that day, yeah, that he did his podcast and he was like, at the Emirates, and he was like, Arsenal gonna finish below United and City. Obviously, I work at the Emirates, innit? So I was there. They did not leave him alone.
I can't lie.
Stewards were struggling to get because look, I'll be honest with you. Working there, yeah, the atmosphere is different, innit? It genuinely feels like they're gonna win the league, innit? I personally believe they still can do it, innit? But after Wednesday's game, yeah, and where reality kicked in because a result like what happened on Wednesday, it was due to happen. I'm gonna be real. And same thing with Everton, because as great as you are defensively, you've only kept 2 clean sheets at the Emirates. Yeah. And I think that was against Nottingham Forest, and I can't remember who the other game was. Bar that you've conceded in every other game in the league at the Emirates. And it's not just one, it's 2 and 3 even. And seeing, through my time of watching, teams going on to win the league, United, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, the one thing that they consistently did was make sure that they did not concede a lot at home, innit? So there is a lot of things like that still need to be fixed within Arsenal's team to win the league. I hope they win the league, innit? I personally don't want City to win it 3 times in a row. Like, they're not that great to be doing that, if I'm going to be real. And it is nice seeing Arsenal like back to the way they were. But you can still see elements of last season when like shit got shaky, and not even like last season before it. Like,
it's like when we're high on a pedal, we
you're
can't
high.
back it, bro. It's like we can't. There's
But
always
when-
something
when
that's
you
just
get
telling
low-
us, okay, we're there, but can we keep going at that point? And personally, from Everton, when I saw Everton, I said, shit.
Everton looked like the old Arsenal, and that's when I got worried and found it a bit. Arsenal might start shaking up a bit because especially the fact that you ain't got Jesus and someone who can actually find goals from nothing, it's a bit more difficult. Like, I'll be honest with you, Haaland, maybe even Nunes or even Rashford, if they got the 2 headers that Nketiah had, and maybe I think there was another chance, they get buried. Nketiah, especially them 2
So
headers.
it's easy for us to say. It's easy for us to say that, but we seem to forget that even the same Nketiah scored a much more difficult header against Man United. So, you know, the thing is, I've seen Haaland miss those kind of chances. Even if he scored 26 goals, I get it. But he's missed those kind of chances, and I'm not even comparing him to Nketiah. They're not in the same league, obviously.
We can't.
But I think we can just pin everything down to like Nketiah. I think there's a mental strength side of things which is being tested currently. And like I said earlier on, these guys are young, you know, the youngest team in the Premier League. And it's a learning curve for them. I don't think Rome was built in a day, right? And we're not expecting Arsenal to even be in this position in the first place.
Yeah, 100%. I was saying it.
They're really overachieving. So they're pushing themselves beyond what we actually think they were. And we're trying to build a team. And the question that Timo asked me earlier on about whether we're going to succeed is I'm actually looking at the long term. I see a team that are, gaining composure. They're learning more about themselves. They're gelling. It was going to take time, but I think we are doing it in even a shorter time for the fact that we are in second position. Come on. No one expected that. Let's be honest. Let's be real with ourselves. No one expected that. So for me, I'm looking at the team that is going. And if we win the league, it's an overachievement. Simple as that.
Yeah,
There's no
but
two ways about it.
as I was saying, if you look at the bigger picture, comparing yourselves to the other teams in the Premier League, it's only going to get more competitive. There's a lot of teams that are going to come up and be better and be stronger. Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, I'm sure they will come back. Man City, after the whole drama and everything that's going on, they might be back. Newcastle's on the rise. So in my opinion, there's no better time than right now for you lot to actually push and win this league, because next year I think will be very much more difficult than the season we're having currently.
It's been getting very difficult every season. This season, I don't know the numbers on my head, but I know that the point gap is really tight between the person that is 13th or 12th and the last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a 7-point gap, I think it is.
The gap between the bottom is mad.
And between and 9th and 4th is even a 9-point gap, I think it is now, or 8-point gap. So either gaps then in any position, relegation, top 4, or even the league is tight this year.
Tight.
Everybody, the Premier League is.
Yeah. So it's already tight.
Yeah, the Premier League is.
And the truth about the matter is, we're gonna evolve, bro. Everyone evolves. We can't use today to judge someone tomorrow. No. Look at Newcastle. Who the hell expected them to be where they are?
I can't lie.
They didn't even go out there to buy the most quality players, did they? It's just mentality change with a few signings. Still relatively mid-table play. Burn, Wheelock, come on. So sometimes it's about the mentality tune as well. So and maybe because of the backing from the owners, many of the players are we need to prove ourselves. And that's one thing about football teams, right? For instance, when a new manager comes in Everton, for instance, imagine 2 of the players, I can't remember the names, McNeil and someone else, that haven't played.
Yeah.
Haven't started a lot of games this season. Only God knows how much they had to impress Sean Dyche in training for them to get a nod to start the game. And then they start the game, they're trying to impress the manager, They want to break all the players' legs in Arsenal. I didn't want to face them in that game. I honestly didn't want to face them. I was telling my mate before that game, I was like, I don't want to face these guys now because everyone is going to be charged up to get a shirt in the first team. And that's what happened. So we were the guinea pig. I didn't want that.
Managerial rebound.
And look at that. Liverpool beat them. So, at the end of the day, everything is over here. So the question is, do Arsenal have the mental resolve? I don't know. Simple answer.
Question.
You don't know.
You see how last season, you were firm favourites to also get top 4, and it was Tottenham, then Newcastle. That blimp happened, and it kind of ruined the season. Do you have a worry that there's the fear of what happened last season, even though it's kind of a different situation, but it's still kind of relevant with each other?
Yes.
Are you scared that what happened last season would happen again, and they just won't turn up, like, because they've lost to City now? Like, Unai Emery is Arsenal's Achilles heel, no matter what team he's with. It's like, because of what happened with him at Arsenal, it's like he always wants to prove himself whenever he plays them. You saw it at Villarreal, and I know he's going to try and do the same thing with Aston Villa, innit? I personally hope that your players actually say, not again, not this time, and go out there and literally put Villa to the sword. Because, like, when City, like, not last season and the season before and the season before that, whenever they were dominant for the league, and whenever they lost the game, whoever the next opponent, you knew they were getting smacked. No matter who it was, you knew City were going to put them to the sword and pepper them, no matter who it was.
Just about, during, like, let's say, before World Cup, there was a time where Arsenal, I think, will play a team. I will know who we're playing this. I said, I'm not worried about this game. Arsenal's beating them. And it will happen. But now, I can't lie to you, this Aston Villa game, I don't know. I see us doing something, but anything can happen. Purely right now, the way how I see it right now, anything can happen.
Your opinions, Tade?
So, I mean, for me, obviously it's going to be at the back of my mind what happened last season. There's no doubt now. But my judgment is going to be different from everyone's judgment because we think differently, right? And we see things differently. One thing I can say for sure is I've seen the blueprint of how we play much more this season compared to last season. And what I'm trying to say is, regardless of the opponent, we want to play our game.
No, 100%.
Now,
Sorry again, see.
do we have enough cutting edge? This season since Gabriel got injured? Probably not. So we played the game. We had 60-something% possession against Man City. We played them, right? But up front, we were a bit blunt. And then defensively, stupid errors. But you can see we're trying to play the way we want to play.
Yeah.
Right? Now, did I see more of this season than last season? Of course I did. Last season, we were inconsistent. For a large chunk in the middle of the season, we played well. And then towards the ending, we messed up. Beginning of the season, last season, we were not there. But what I've seen this season is a more consistent team. And I think if we can cut out those stupid errors, very stupid errors at the back, we will be keeping clean sheets just like Newcastle. What's made Newcastle really good this season is, even if they're not winning games or scoring,
They're not conceding.
They're not conceding, yeah.
That's the difference.
I'll be honest. Sorry to interrupt you, yeah. Like you said, yeah, with the whole stupid mistake. So I did look at the goals that you guys have conceded at home, and 99.9% of them, I kid you not, come from defensive mistakes. You've only conceded one that's not a defensive mistake, and it was a set piece. It was a penalty, in fact, and it was Ben Rama. Bar that, every other goal came from a defensive mistake. You've handed people goals.
Yeah.
It's not like they've actually played through you and smacked you. No, you've handed them goals. You handed Man City 3 of their goals. All 3 of them were handed to them. The back pass by Tomiyasu. Then Gabriel lost possession twice. I think it was twice, innit? He did it for both goals, innit?
Yeah.
For both goals. No, Zinchenko and Gabriel.
Tomiyasu was just one.
Tomiyasu was one, Zinchenko, and it was Gabriel.
Yeah. Gabriel was the one.
All 3 of them, you all gave them the ball, and they capitalised. And against teams like City, you get punished.
You can't be
Yeah. Against other lower teams, you can sometimes get away with it because the quality of finishing isn't there. You have to get rid of that. That's what makes you that title defensive team. Getting rid of them small nibbling mistakes that cost you. And it's the only reason why you make conceding at home.
It actually is.
Look at the goals
It
properly,
actually
you can
is.
see they all come from defensive mistakes. Bar the Benrahma penalty.
But if we look at Arsenal, bro, like, especially how you man are not Arsenal supporters, when you lot always talk to me about Arsenal, what's the one thing you lot always say when we lose? Our defense is always the defense. We always have a lot of defensive mistakes. This season, I can't lie, we have patterned it up, but it's still there.
Just a bit more coaching will take it out of it. It's not about talent, because the defenders you've got are very talented.
All our defenders
from Ben White to Tommy Yasu to Saliba, Gabriel Zinchenko, all that, even Tini. You've got very great backups in all positions.
The defense has still improved, let's be honest.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's improved from what it is.
The defense has still improved compared to, but those two errors, they're man-made. They're like, you just put someone on this. Even Saliba made a mistake against Leicester, if I remember.
Yeah.
And you can't be giving away those chances. And I think what tends to happen is we were scoring goals then to counteract the effects of the goals conceded. We were scoring more goals then, and that was what helped us. But in the last 6-7 games now, we've not been scoring enough goals. So, we're not scoring goals, but we're conceding, and that's the problem. But in answer to your earlier question about whether or not I think we'll be able to do something against Aston Villa going forward, for some weird reason, I'm kind of confident. I don't know why. I think, going back to what I said about how we play our game, the way we play our game is very, very important. Now, would we have the cutting edge up front to score? Someone like Martinelli now, he's dropped in form a lot. Maybe Trossard should come in. I don't know. But I just have this feeling about that squad this season. I just have this, maybe it's just me, I just have this feeling that we're going to do something. I have this feeling that we're going to be able to win Aston Villa. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but something in me just feels we're going to win.
No, it's confidence. Because you've turned a massive turn from where you were last season and the season before. It's no longer of an aspect, we've crumbled, I'm scared we're going to keep on crumbling. It's now, you now believe, and not even believe, you can see it a lot of the time. You will be coming out against Villa 100%. With vengeance in your mind.
We actually have to.
And I do believe Mikel will make 1 or 2 changes just to remind players that no matter who you are, your places ain't safe. I do believe I would take Zinchenko out because Martinelli is always isolated for that Villa game. I will personally take Zinchenko out of that game. I won't play him against Villa. I personally also feel like with Zinchenko in the team when he plays, especially Martinelli, if Jesus ain't there, Martinelli's very isolated on that touchline, because when Jesus comes out to get the ball deep or whenever, Martinelli's always running beyond, and that's when he used to get his goals. Ever since Jesus, in my opinion, got injured, Martinelli's form has dried up. He fed
for
off
me,
it.
I have a different opinion about Martinelli because I've had, in as much as I love Martinelli, I've had my issues with Martinelli. When Gabriel is in the team or not, I have my one issue I have with him. It is he holds on to the ball too long, and I don't like that. That's my personal opinion. That's what I see.
That for me is Eddie Nketiah. For a bit, it was like he gets in positions, but it's okay. You're in a position to score, but one little pass can give us the easy goal, and I feel like I've seen that a lot. People will look at me and say, "Oh, why is it with Eddie Nketiah? You're always angry." Because I say, I'm not gonna say Eddie Nketiah is a rubbish player. He's not class. He's class. He plays for my team, bro. He's scoring goals. But there's so much things that he can do that, for example, there was one time I saw he was up. There was 2 defenders coming towards him. I forgot what team it was. He could have just passed to Odegaard, but he didn't. He shot. That game, I think we drew. It was the game we drew before Everton. It was that game. I remember I saw it. I was sitting at work and I said, "Why, bro?" I said, "Why? We could have won this game." That's the only thing I'll say about Eddie. But other than that, I hear what you're saying about Martinelli.
For me, I don't nitpick, because there could be 101 passes a player can give. He can give to Odegaard, he can give to Trossard, he can give. You're only gonna do one thing: make a decision. Either take a shot or you pass. I get that. Yeah. I don't nitpick. I'm just looking at Martinelli from the perspective of it's been too constant when he does that. It's almost like he has one way of playing, and that's take on the man, beat the man, and cross or something. I don't know, or just take a shot, and that's my major problem with him. Yeah. For me, a breath of fresh air is Trossard. I'm seeing someone that brings something different into the game, right? 100%. And that's the angle I'm coming from, right? So I don't believe. Well, yeah, okay. I believe that the game dynamics is gonna change. Obviously, with Gabriel coming in, there's no doubt. I mean, Gabriel Jesus is always gonna be different with him, no doubt, because he's a special player. No one in the Premier League does what he does. No one, absolutely no one. Taking the ball, going to defense, no one does that, right? So he's a special player, right? So let's put a special player out of this. Let's look at the players we have in the squad. What are you guys doing? Why is it that we're blaming the drop of form of Martinelli on Gabriel? Why didn't he affect Saka? So the point I'm making is Martinelli needs to step up. That's what I'm trying to say. He needs to step up. You can't sit and say we're going to be relying on Gabriel because step up, make the right decisions. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not even going to get on him. All I'm saying now is if we're going to go into Aston Villa, maybe we should make a few changes.
Do you drop him for
I
Villa?
might agree with you changing. Sorry.
Do you drop him for Villa? Do you drop Martinelli?
Against Villa, I might agree with you that maybe bringing in Tierney might probably help us, simply because Tierney will play a different kind of football.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
He's going to be running down the wings.
I like
But
Tierney
I've also
too,
seen games where Tierney has played and he's been asked to do what Zinchenko is doing, coming into the midfield. So, is it about the personnel or is it about Arteta?
Yeah,
That's the question.
yeah, you're right, because with Villa and from experience of watching teams always play Unai Emery teams, especially when he plays a team that's not like an Arsenal or something like that. He likes to play a low block, and the only way to break him down isn't going through the middle and using like Zinchenko or even Tini to go through the middle. It's more set up for Tini's kind of game, overlapping. Let's stretch them as much as we can. If it's not working from this side, we quickly switch over to the other side, because an Unai Emery team, the way to break them down and actually beat them is switching play, stretch the play, open up the spaces in the middle for people to run in from deep to get on the end of whatever it is that they need to get on at the end of, cross, low ball in, whatever it is. So that's why personally I feel like a Tini would be better. Also bringing in a Trossard who's good with both feet as well, massive plus. He scored the most goals in the Premier League with his week before. So beating an Unai Emery and Villa, I think you need to bring two players, them two in particular, especially because of Tini's style of play. He likes to run down the wing, stretch the play. You need to stretch the play against an Unai Emery, especially a Villa, because he'll sit in and hit you on the break with Watkins and Coutinho or Bailey, whoever he's starting. So
I just hope Mings is not back, because they missed him in the last game. So if Mings is not there, we might probably get a chance.
I don't even think Mings is that good.
We're crossing balls into the box. Who's going to head it?
Yeah.
Who's going to nut the ball?
That's the problem.
Because their aerial stopper was really Mings. Yeah. That's the only thing that annoys me about.
Even Jesus was good in the air.
He was. No,
he's very good in the air.
He's good, but it was a thing where it will get to a point.
I agree.
It will get to a point where I feel like, I think I said this to you once. Arsenal love crossing the ball in. It was perfect when we had Giroud. I promise you, when we had Giroud across the ball, I already knew it was going in.
But the thing is, Giroud is inconsistent.
It got to inconsistent with Giroud.
Arsenal haven't had a consistent striker since Robin van Persie. If we're going to be completely honest, if you can remember anyone else since Van Persie that's been that consistent with goals, then go ahead, bring up their name. But since you've gotten rid of Van Persie, it's genuinely, till now, the only position Arsenal have never filled in. Every position you've filled in, from Nasri to Sanya to Clichy to even centre backs, even goalkeeper, you've managed to sort them out. The only thing you're genuinely missing now is a through and throughout goal scorer, like clinical goal scorer, someone that you in a City game or whatnot, you whip in the ball and he'll score even if he's been quiet for 10 minutes. And right now it's very hard to get in the market. There's not many strikers out there that like are available, and I think the only one that's going to be available in the summer is Vlahovic.
If Arsenal is serious,
yeah.
If Arsenal is serious, they should just go for Osimhen, man. They should put the money in for Osimhen.
I'll be real.
No,
that does make sense, but it depends.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. No, I hear it. I completely hear it. But the thing is, are Arsenal going to pay that money? Because we saw with Mudryk and Caicedo, you could have got both of them. It's just you weren't willing to give up the money.
So I think it depends on the player. For instance, Casado for me is not worth that money. I'm sorry. If I'm a businessman, I'm not gonna do that. It's a ridiculous amount of money they were asking. And besides, they did put in the money. If I don't know if you guys saw the news, they did put in the money. From there was a news that came out that they put in money, but I think there was some extra incentive that Chelsea were not Chelsea.
Brian.
No. Sorry, apologies. I'm mixing it up. They were not gonna release him. That's one. Secondly, I was never gonna put in that kind of money for him.
He was definitely
That's just the
money.
reality. I don't feel it's what the amount of money that they were asking for.
No, don't get me wrong. Brighton were definitely trying to price him out of a move. Because Casado goes for 50-60 million max. Max. Anything beyond that, you're dragging in the price. Yeah, 100%. In today's market. Because they bought him for 5 million. Regardless of however they said, however much they said, they're going to make good profit off of him.
That was the plan. That was really their plan.
Selling him for 80 million M's, you're dragging it.
If we actually did that, I don't know.
And with the Modric deal, one of the clauses were that 25 million of whatever the fee is.
That's the one.
Yeah,
That's the one.
25 million of the fee, whatever it is, goes to Ukraine to help them out with like the war. So
Yeah.
they were complicated deals, and obviously Tomboli's willing to pay anything.
The market when it can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can
This
hear
is
you.
really slow now. I think
Yeah.
the bandwidth is a bit. Right, so I mean, whenever it comes to Arsenal, they kind of put exorbitant amounts of money on players, and it's becoming ridiculous now. You see, but one thing that we should thank Arteta for is Arteta is not all about splashing money. If you look at the players we've got, Tomiyasu cheap, Odegaard cheap. So he didn't get everything right. So for instance, Vieira is yet to prove himself, and you can see that Arteta doesn't even trust Vieira, and that's the reason why he had the place. He doesn't trust him. I don't even trust him. When he comes to the game, he hides. He doesn't take the game by the scruff of the neck. He comes in for Odegaard to control the game, and he's nowhere to be found. So Sambi Lokonga has gone to Crystal Palace. We've loaned him out to get more experience. So the point I'm just making is we should still thank Arteta for not just going and putting stupid money on players.
He's created something. He's created
I
something from
think
basically
his
what
most
we had.
expensive signing is Ben White.
It's
50
Ben
million.
White.
I think it is. I think that is his most expensive
the
signing.
highest.
That's the highest.
That's the most he's paid since he's been manager. And to be fair to him, all credit where credit is due. Him and let's be real, Edu as well. They're not getting ransacked in the market, and you have to respect that. And what they're doing with the team, you can't ignore it. Like people,
It's a project.
a lot of teams should actually strategize themselves the way Arsenal do strategize themselves in the market, because Jorginho and Trossard are panic buys. They were always on his list. He's always been a
That
fan.
is something I do want to ask you though. How do you feel about the whole Jorginho thing?
So I totally understood what happened. You in every business deal or everything in life, not just football, you need a stopgap. You knew that you needed something there. You knew that you needed someone, but you couldn't get what you wanted, right? Because of the stupid amount of money. And you're like, okay, fine, I can't get this guy. Who is the second person on my list? Jorginho.
He's always been a
His
fan.
experience, he was once, I don't know, best European player. He's won, Champions League. He's won. Listen, he's experienced, right? So for me, I will take Jorginho all day long ahead of Sambi Lokonga or Elneny. And that's the reason why they gave him a short deal. They gave him a short deal because it's supposed to be a stopgap. They want to see how it goes. So I don't mind having a tactical solution than a long-term strategy. Jorginho is not a long-term strategy. It's a tactical solution, and I understand that.
Respect where respect is due. He played well against Man City. He did. He was not bad at all.
I think his first game, the first game when we first bought him, shaky.
Yeah, it was Everton.
Shaky.
But after that, ever since
made
he's
up
come
for
in,
it,
yeah,
man.
he
The
hasn't been bad.
whole team was shaking that game.
Yeah. So let's not fault him on that. But against Man City, he put up good numbers and he played very well in the midfield. He played very well. I was watching him closely. He was telling everyone where to pass and when not to pass.
Yep.
And
I agree.
the few times they actually didn't listen to him, he fumbled.
Second half.
Right. Sorry, the thing is, it's a bit delayed. So second half. By the way, guys, I've got 3 minutes. It's gonna.
Yeah,
Same. I'm gonna resend the link. Don't worry.
Right. Okay, you're aware. Good. So, second half, what actually happened in that game right? If people did care to notice, Pep changed the whole tactics.
Yeah.
And I saw him in the first half when he was telling Gundogan, he was like, you know what, guys, the only way we can win this game is to play street football by pressing them very hard. So what happened was the second half, Jorginho didn't have the space to operate anymore. So they couldn't even give the passes to him because you get Silva, Gundogan, De Bruyne, they were literally choking that midfield.
He changed the system.
That's one of the reasons that they couldn't get the ball to Jorginho anymore.
When he bought on what's that centre back called again that he bought from Dortmund? Zakaria, I think it is. Akanji, sorry. Akanji. That's when the shift happened. He switched our back four. He moved Ake up to the left. He told Kyle Walker go to stick to his normal position in right back, and he played Akanji and Diaz as his two centre backs, and that's when it shifted. Bernardo and Gundogan, he overpacked the midfield because I think he took off Mahrez for him. Yeah, he took off Mahrez. He wanted to overpack the midfield because he clocked Jorginho was pulling strings for Arsenal, and he was breaking through. So tactically, yeah, I'll give it Arteta.
Pep may have revealed a weakness for us slightly. I didn't watch the match, but the way how you're telling me, it looks like he revealed it.
He actually switched. So Bernardo Silva was basically like a defensive midfielder in that game. If you watched it, he had four fouls. He literally fouled Saka 4 times. 4. Then he got the yellow card. Then second half, he switched him away. He switched Bernardo Silva away from where Saka was because he didn't want him to get a red card. So it was all here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But anyway, I'm probably gonna live with this. 1 more minute. So I'm gonna live with. Listen, at the end of the day, right? Arsenal, we move, man.
We move.
We win, we lose. I support them every time.
So what's your prediction for the next game and for your end of the season? We'll get you back on here, don't worry. But like
2-0.
2-0.
I'm confident.
Fair enough.
2-0.
2-0. And for the rest of the season?
They don't need to know. It's okay. It's okay. Later.
We'll do that on another episode.
We'll do that one later, man. Aye. Wow.
But yeah, on that note, Tade, it's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Soon to have you. Hope you again.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
That was eventful.
Yeah, so we'll get back onto. I know Thomas wants to roast you a bit, so don't.
Nah, don't.
All of you.
All of us.
You can talk about doing good here, doing bad here, but this is your season. No time for excuses. Honestly, there's no time for excuses. When you have an issue, you need to address it quickly and get it done with. Because this is your season. Because this is your season. It's set out perfectly for you lot.
Where was all this when you were here?
I was gonna say after, but keep talking about your next game, the game after, but eventually when it gets to the end of the episode, I'm gonna say there's no time for excuses. This is the season. You need to start pushing for it. When you have an issue, address it, get it solved, and everything like that. Like, you can praise here, praise there, but realistically, you don't want to be like the same old Arsenal being bottle jobs, like not getting the job done and just being challengers and not winners. Like, it gets boring. As a fan, you need that.
No,
and I want you guys to win.
If you bottle this league, North London in a whole is going to be the bottling city, bro.
No, we might take that.
I want you guys to win it so bad. So when I see a downfall like that, I'm thinking like, whoa, what's the reason? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Just because, it's their history, so it's done. That doesn't sit right to me in my head. You lot need to win it.
I see it like this, we don't get to start this season and something good don't come out. That's how I see it. But it was a thing where I've said it to Abs, and I think I've said it to you as well. No matter what happens this season, if we don't win, I still want to see Arsenal in the top 2. But the only reason why I'm saying, the only reason why I haven't said we're not going to win it and all that stuff is because of the moment that's happened this week.
In my personal opinion, you should get back on track from Villa.
We have to get, if we don't get back on track from Villa, bro, it's down.
I think you would. I think you would and you should, because what would be the reason?
Because come April, they have Newcastle away, City away, and Chelsea at home.
And they're a good team that have been doing good this whole season. Yeah, they may not have played. They may not have played. No, I'm saying Arsenal-wise, like, they may not have played the best teams like twice already in the Prem, But throughout the season, you've been smoking teams 4-0, 5-0 here and there, like 3-1. You're not conceding the most as well. Like, you're winning games. Your plays have improved. Like, other teams are slacking off. You know, there's a rebuild at United, Man City. There's a lot of drama. They got their players leaving and stuff. Like, you got Newcastle in fourth. Liverpool and Chelsea aren't there to, you know, make it even difficult. This is your season, bro.
Yeah, no,
and I want you guys to win
the way it's looking right now, it's Arsenal's season to win. From like the way how
And
you
it
want to
should
say it,
be.
it should be. But hear it from someone who has seen this before.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
As fans, you need to wake up.
Yes. As fans, you need to wake up.
You need to give me a reason.
You need to understand it, bro.
I don't watch Arsenal like you do. I'm not up to date with Arsenal like you do. But
that's what I'm saying.
On your
bro.
downfall,
you're not. But
when it happens, if it happens, what would be the reason? Because it won't make sense.
Right now, there is no reason. There is no reason. That's why right now, if we don't do anything, what's the reason?
Also, you can't blame if things go wrong. I don't want Arsenal.
I'm not blaming. I can't lie. Anyone who blames injury, joke.
It's not injury, but blaming the whole incident that happened at Brentford.
Joke.
With the referee.
I'm over all that. I'm over all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't want silly excuses like that.
Because if we're gonna be real, if VAR were really doing a proper job, the first goal that Brentford scored would not have been.
Would not have been offside.
Because not even offside. He didn't foul Gabriel in the first place, so it would have counted, in my opinion. Not to mention, they did deserve something out of that game anyway.
Yeah, no.
It's the way fortune worked,
They
didn't
did.
They got shagged by a goal again overturned on them, saying that it was a foul. They also got shagged by hitting the bar a few times. So it was kind of in a thing. Justice was done. You didn't deserve to come out with a win with that game, innit? So I don't want fans to be coming back and blaming that. Because it's the game at the end of the day. You didn't turn up in the first place, and you were lucky enough to get a goal.
The way how I saw that Brentford game was, everyone kept complaining for a game we didn't turn up to.
Exactly.
And you see that game, obviously I was at work, I didn't watch it. I was hearing it through the Arsenal app commentary, bro. The Donny was even saying it, bro. There's been so many situations where Arsenal are just lacking. Brentford should have capitalised theirs.
Bro,
in the first 10 minutes of the game, I kept hearing Ivan Toney's name.
Bro, he had you on toes.
I kept hearing my man's name, bro.
He won He won all 10 aerial duels against Saliba, bro. Saliba didn't win a single header against him, bro. He bullied him, and then he went and bullied Gabriel to make the matters worse of it. So it was simply you just didn't turn up. And I get it. There's sometimes some teams like United of the past, Chelsea of the past, City as well, even Liverpool, when they haven't been performing well, they still manage to scrape out wins. That's what separates champions from fakers. Let's be real. But it's whatever, innit? It's football. Like, we have to move on and just hope that you lot bounce back.
All I'm going to say is, from this Aston Villa game, I have to see the consistency that we were in around October and that. From this game onwards, bro. Because you just said the games that we have after Aston Villa.
It's April that you have City away.
The only team that is basically worrying me right now in the league is the Manchester United teams. I mean, it's the Manchester teams. That's the only teams right now that they can actually come up to us and say, we have chat for you. We have that. It's only the Manchester lot.
No, I hear it. But on all of them notes, your prediction for the weekend. Well, fans will actually people see this after the weekend result, but still, your prediction.
I do want to say yes. We are gonna win, but score wise, I don't know, man.
Is Jesus back?
I don't think.
No. But rehab is almost done for him still.
I'm saying like a 2-1 to Arsenal.
Yeah.
You see us conceding as well.
Yeah,
slightly, you know?
See you conceding. Definitely.
I see us conceding.
Especially on the break.
Yeah.
I'll see you conceding.
You're going to catch us on the break or something.
But I see you getting the job done. 2-1 or a 1-0. It'll be a scrappy game. Emery, innit? It'll always be a scrappy game. Yeah. But I personally do feel like you get over the line.
We have to get the win.
Yeah. And you've got a game in hand. Let's not forget that.
Who's the game in hand?
I completely forgot.
Well, I thought it was Man City, but turns out it's not.
You've got another game in hand.
Is it Liverpool?
No.
Because when I look at the table, there's another. I always look at the team that has another game in hand, but it don't make sense.
Liverpool has another game in hand as well, but yeah, man, we'll see how it goes on the weekend. But from me and the boys in the garage, also Tade who just left, pieces. Do some love and let us know what you think is gonna happen with Arsenal and if they got a chance to win in the league. Deuces.
Yes.